Hello and welcome back everyone to a new episode of Loremaster Leveling here with me, Sneaky Bot. And can I just say at the beginning of this episode, BlizzCon, oh my god. I mean, I did that whole wishlist thing and it feels like someone must have seen it. Someone at Blizzard must have seen it and went like, dude, we need to make you a vanilla server. And oh my god. Now, I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, Kulturas, Zandalar. Great timing, by the way, since I need to do the whole Zandalar troll wars in Pandaria here in this Let's Play series. But yeah, the feels, I can't describe them. And now I'm faced with the big, important decision of what server will I play on? I mean, obviously the classic one, but I do like the current WoW as well. I just need my classic fix from time to time, you know. This is hard. And what like faction? Because I am super tied to the Alliance, even though I'm playing like Horde here. I'm super tied to the Alliance when it comes to classic timeline, because no Belfs. I mean, yes, we get the Nightborn for the Horde. I'm like, yes, finally. By the way, speaking of Belfs, where the fuck were the Blood Elves in that trailer? I mean, awesome trailer, Blizzard, but where were the Blood Elves? I missed the Blood Elves. Give me more Blood Elves. But yeah. I don't know what to do, but for the first time ever, and this was like, even compared to something like Legion's announcement where I was like, yes, finally, TBC comes back, like, properly, which it sort of did. I mean, I missed Legion due to, you know, real life reasons and stuff, but, I mean, for everyone who managed to experience Legion, I'm super happy for them, because I think that's the closest thing to, like, BC and Vanilla that you were going to get. But now this... Oh my god, I just don't know what to say. I'm just going mental here. That's what's happening, I'm going mental. And I should actually be recording Tyranny today, but I just can't. I'm trying to record this basically to give you my first impressions of what happened there at BlizzCon. And hopefully calm myself down enough. Yay, we leveled to be able to play and record some Tyranny. But like, we already talked about this a bit, but in case you're a new viewer to this channel, hi, welcome, nice to meet you. Anyway, my whole attachment to WoW came from BC, so I'm not even a vanilla player, I never played in vanilla. But the whole vanilla zones and the way the game was paced back then just really grabbed me, and I liked that type of playstyle. I liked the way the stories were told in the zones, the way the zones were set up, and that questing was more like a journey. All that kind of stuff that you've probably heard at some point someone else say. And just imagine getting all of that back. This is like time travel for me, like real time travel. It's like you're not there when you were like 12 or 13 or 15 in my case. I was probably 15 when I started playing WoW. But you're going to get a very similar experience, and this time you can actually appreciate it, because you're not an asinine teenager dealing with other issues. No, I don't want to join your guild, sorry. Getting that back, and Blizzard saying like, hey, we're going to try and do this, I'm like, wow. Anyway, other stuff about the expansion. I'm super happy that we are, for the third time probably, returning to the roots of WoW with an expansion. I mean, I did remember people were saying WoW is going to the roots with Draenor, WoW is going to the roots with, what was it, Legion, and now with this, third time's the charm. I mean, we are getting Horde Alliance conflict, and that is what I like. Going back to storytelling, what I liked in the vanilla stories, and you could like, I could never experience it at the time when people were actually playing this as content, but when you went through the zones and read the stories, and I actually did that partly because, you know, I get lost. I can't read maps. I needed to read the quest logs to figure out where the hell I was supposed to go. And I really like the fact that the center stage was... Why am I killing panthers? I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, center stage was set for Horde Alliance conflict. And then that conflict kind of like... It opens up new avenues for neutral agents, like say Onyxia, to come in and use that conflict for her own advantages. So she orchestrated the disappearance of Varian, for instance, and then was one of the council members that were tutoring Anduin, basically, and helping him make decisions. She was part of that Regency Council. Then you had Zul'Gurub with the trolls here trying to summon the blood god Hakar again. Basically going like, there's a power vacuum in northern Stranglethorn because no human expeditions can come here. They could have used the destabilizing factor of the Gurubashi Empire to settle here. Nothing's happening here. We're going to do that. Then you had Ankiraj, which was essentially a huge, big, nice event that also tied into the whole war with the Horde, because you had the PvP event in Silitus to open up the gates of Ankiraj. And then Naxxrama's obviously coming in, and yep, your conflict is nothing compared to the Lich King. And ever since then, that Horde Alliance conflict has blossomed up in MOP with, say, Garrosh and in Cataclysm, but it never took center stage. And I really wanted to take center stage in these big, like, raid bosses and everything, that they should be there, like, on the side, because what you actually get if you give the war, and this is my belief, this is only my belief, so if I'm talking something stupid, just put that down in the comments, but this is my belief. If you only talk about the raid bosses in the zones, sure, we now have raid finders, so people will actually see these bosses and understand what the zone story is all about. But like, if you're a casual player, like, sorry, I'm a casual player at the moment, I really don't care about the raid bosses. They're like big sugar highs of lore, which are nice, but I want this steady kind of conflict that is everywhere bubbling up between the Horde and the Alliance, that I get to see and feel everywhere, and that I don't have to go into a raid or a dungeon every time to see how it kind of plays out or ends. So I feel if you have the conflict in the zone, you can give the raiders what they want, while at the same time also setting stage ground for PvPers, for role players, for people just to generally understand that there's this thing in the lore that isn't going away, the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance, and all these raid bosses that we're killing off every so often, they're just temporary threats that kind of emerge from the sidelines of that conflict. They kind of suggest that, yes, this conflict is the main focus, the big thing in the lore, but there's so much more out there that we can focus on, like now we have the Void Lords and everything like that. But if we just focus on basically making the lore about killing off these raid bosses, then suddenly you have this issue of, but when we've killed them all, what happens? Whereas if the raid bosses come sort of out of the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance, sort of, not always, but sort of, then your story is centered around ending the main conflict between the Horde and the Alliance, not ending the conflict with killing raid bosses. And those raid bosses, because they're mortal things in the lore, sorry, I should be killing stuff, but not these things, other things, then, okay, I'll backtrack, because I lost my train of thought. So, if your lore is centered around killing these lore characters, aka raid bosses, once you kill them off, you need to invent new ones. So, the lore basically ends up exhausting itself with every expansion. But if you have the lore being centered around something like a war between the Horde and the Alliance, it won't exhaust itself that quickly, because just because you kill Sylvanas doesn't mean the war goes away. Just because you kill Anduin doesn't mean the war goes away. Someone will always step up to the plate and continue that war. But if you kill Sargeras, there is no Legion. You could say, okay, fine, some Nazarethim Lord, Dreadlord comes in and takes his place. But it's not going to necessarily feel the same. That's why it feels so rehashed to keep using Gul'dan all the time, even though I love him as a lore character. Always like, oh, Gul'dan's back, and he's bringing the Legion back. It's like, we've done this 3 times already, come up with something new. So I sort of like having this feeling that the lore never ends when it focuses on the conflict between the lore and the Alliance, instead of the lore might end when we kill Sargeras, when we kill the Void Lords, when we kill all the old gods.
Too far away.
Because once we've done all of that, the lore technically should end if it's not focusing on, you know, the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance. But if it focuses on the conflict between the Horde and the Alliance, and through that introduces all these other threats that come from the outside, like Old Gods, Burning Legion, Lich King, then even once we've dealt with all those outside threats, we still have to deal with the war. And this is just my personal opinion. I like that type of lore presentation much more, and it's potentially the only reason why I potentially like it, which I think is true, is because that is how it first was presented to me. And yeah, so I'm biased in that sense, but that is my opinion, and that's why I'm psyched about the expansion. I am psyched about getting all those sub races in there, especially since at the latest with the High Mountain Tauren, I was kind of going like, yeah, shouldn't the Tauren be able to get these High Mountain models? Because they are essentially Tauren for all, like, purposes that you could imagine. They are Tauren. But yeah, now we're going to get them, which is awesome. We're going to get new elves. Elves are always great. I love elves. Just bit, I mean, lore-wise, Illyria and her Void Elves can only sorry, go to the Alliance, but I'm like, I really want to play a Void Elf. I really want to play a Void Elf, but all my friends on live server are Horde side, so I am only going to play Horde. This also means, by the way, for Loremaster leveling, for Tafrona here, we need to focus on leveling her up a bit quicker. Not doing all of this what we're doing now, where we're basically not advancing the quests. Because we're going back to Kazan, South Seas, Goblin territory, stuff like that. She needs to be level 110 before the expansion drops. So, Loremaster leveling will not do what I thought it would do when I first started this out, where I'm going to level Tafrona to 60, level another character from Eastern Kingdoms, Horde side as well, to 60, and then we're sort of tagging through the expansions together. We will just go through everything with Tafrona, and then if we have time we will take my Blood Elf Paladin and do something with him as well, and talk about the lore of the Eastern Kingdoms.
Inventory is full.
Speaking of expansions, awesome thing that Outland is now going to be level 60 to 80 as well as Northrend, because as much as I like the starting areas of Northrend, and something like Storm Peaks and Dragonblight being awesome until the Wrathgate, I just prefer Outland more. It's just nostalgia fix again, sorry guys, but I prefer Outland more, and I like that you now get that horizontal type of choose your own path through the world, where you can kind of go like, you can do Borean Tundra, then Hellfire Peninsula, whatever way you want to do it. You're not forced to go through Outland if you hate Outland. You're not forced to go through Northrend zones that you hate. Because if you hate both Grizzly Hills and Zoldrak, what are you going to do? I mean, I dread every single time I need to go through there, because my other option is dungeons. And I'm kind of fed up with the pace that dungeons are run at, which is one other reason why I'm so excited about classic servers, because suddenly CC should be a thing. I mean, I hope Blizzard does this correctly. They might not, but I really, because I'm in the engine rooms of the hype train here, and like shoveling in more coal into it, I really hope they do it correctly, and that those dungeons are going to need CC, are going to have stuff that slows people down a bit, because it's not going to be as tough as it was, because we're much better now than we were back then. We don't need to kill that raptor. But if you force them to CC, it's at least forcing people to communicate a bit more. A bit. Like, emphasis on a bit. Not a lot, but a bit. And it's going to force them to slow down a bit. And I think it's really a step in the right direction. And I love Blizzard's solution for trying to, like, make sure both camps are happy. And if there's one company that can pull this off, it's Blizzard. I have not put my timer on, neither here in-game or outside the game on my phone. So I have no idea how long this episode has run for. So what I'm trying to do here, especially since I need to go get my laundry, fairly soon, I'm going to do one more quest, and I'm going to call it an episode. Then I'm going to calm down, I'm going to get my laundry, eat something, and record Tyranny. But maybe I'm still very giddy in Tyranny. I will try not to talk that much about WoW on Tyranny, because maybe that audience doesn't appreciate it as much. If they do, nice, but I'm supposed to be focusing on Tyranny, not on WoW, on the Tyranny Let's Play series. So I will try and gather my thoughts. Until then, I have 10 raptors to kill. So let's go and do that. Where is my sprint? I don't have sprint yet, probably. Yes, I will get sprint in 3 levels. Oh my god. I am so excited. I'm so excited. I'm going to like hug this troll person. I'm that excited. Alright. There. Stalker. Now he's probably going like, what the fuck is he doing? But yeah, I'm just super excited now. Oh my god. The feels. The feels. Is he going to take our jungle stalker? Probably is, because he's like level what, 110? Yeah. He's taking all our things. Let's just move in the other direction. He's probably leveling up, skinning or cooking or whatever. But we need to focus on our quest here. Not on trying to just run after him like a crazy stalker. There we go. We've got these guys tagged, which means he's free to help us kill them. But we will at least get the quest thingy progression. Bags are full. What are we going to chuck out? Oh yeah, I should have sold stuff as well. I completely forgot. Let's chuck out the Crocolisk eyes and get the bright sphere. There we go. But yes, oh my god, can you imagine? Old Stranglethorn Vale. We talked about this last episode. Old Stranglethorn Vale, not whale, it's not an animal, Vale. Yeah, voiced. What are these bilabial things and not glides like W? Sorry, still in linguistics mode. Probably always going to be in linguistics mode because I'm studying at grad school, so you just have to live through it. Maybe you learn something as well, hopefully. My goal, after all, is for you to enjoy these things and to learn something from them. So hopefully you do either or optimally both. Anyway, let's try and calm down a bit the nerdgasms over WoW Classic, over Kultiras and Zandalar. Oh my god, Kultiras, I'm so excited about that too. And about the 20v20 like real world open world PvP things. I think that might actually work. I mean, I'm on the hype train, so there's probably tens of thousands of reasons why that won't work out quite as epically as presented and as we all are thinking that it will be. But oh my god, yeah, I think Blizzard gave enough reasons for people to like try out vanilla if they like vanilla. And continue to come to retail or whatever up-to-date version WoW, however you want to call it, from classic servers, and just play both. You basically just get the best of both worlds. Yeah, I mean, one of the things that people do keep like mentioning, and I do think they're mentioning it correctly, even though I've given my answer in like BlizzCon wishlist video, the one after that on this, is that are people really going to play all of those like on vanilla servers, or is it just going to be a bump and then they're not going to play? They're either unsubbing completely or going back to up-to-date WoW. I think, because this is how MMOs really work, is if you give them a good game, and vanilla WoW, for all its faults, is a good game. Just like, you know, WoW Legion is a good game. And the next expansion is probably going to be a good game, because it's developed by Blizzard, and Blizzard does good games. They generally do awesome games, good games, and slightly less awesome games, but they're all good. I've never had a dud with Blizzard. Tethys? We need Tethys for another quest after that. But yeah, so they do good games. And if you have a good game, and you can build up a community in it, then even people like me, who don't really want to raid, because you know, vanilla WoW style raiding might be a bit too much for me with YouTube and grad school and everything else. We can still do dungeons. You know, that's what I did when I played on when I was time walking before Chromie offered time walking, let's say it like that. And that worked fine, and you had nice people there. The leveling process was nice. Maybe I'm just going to be playing there for the leveling process, but guess what? That is not that much different from how I'm playing WoW now, because I actually really enjoy the leveling process. I enjoy 5-man dungeons, even 10-man small dungeons, like Kara and UBRS and LBRS back in the day. So, if you can, point being here, if you can build a community, people will stay. They might fluctuate a bit and go between one and the other, but if you can actually have the community there and give them reasons to build that community, and the community actually builds itself and maintains itself, then people will be there. I have no definitive answer on where, in which community I will be, or if I'll be in both, in terms of classic or retail. At the moment, because I'm so hyped, I'm basically just going to be like, well, we're going to do a lot of classic content for a bit, and obviously I'll be on the up-to-date version as well, with level 120, but I might actually just focus on classic for a bit, and then when I feel like doing the other stuff, I do the other stuff. But I don't know, I'm just happy we can get the best of both worlds, and I'll end on that note. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, my name's been SneakyBot, and you have been awesome. If you did like the episode, then do give me a like. If you vehemently agree or disagree with anything I say at any point, just comment, and do subscribe. I hope you had an awesome BlizzCon, just as I did. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.